At the end of Mercury's next journey, the dragon shall dance through the hoop of Jupiter. If at that moment the monkey shall ride the jaguar and the tiger shall feast on the nubile, the order of the universe will be such that harmless phosphorescence shall reign supreme for eternity. Hello, everyone. This is Cheaply Dressed Thug Thoreau Smiley. I am joined this week by...
I'm Josh Cece, and I didn't take notes because only 3 people died.
I'm Brian Leshin. Awesome party. Where did you get all the guns?
I'm Alaric Weber, more fabulous in scope than even the fabulous drum princess.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence, the podcast where we watch every theatrically released, and we use that term loosely, theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, and we tell you all about it. I wanted to take a quick moment. We do have a to talk about our executive producers. We have executive producer Atticus Burkett, who has been our executive producer for a while. We have a brand new one, Michael Beckwith. We wanted to say thank you, Michael, for becoming an executive producer.
Yeah,
you too can be an executive producer or a patron of any sort. For $1, you will get to hear our monthly movie. That's right. $1 is all it takes to hear an extra podcast a month and support the show. This month, we're going to be doing The Life of Brian. That is not a movie about Brian Lesh. It is Monty Python's The Life of Brian. Next month, we don't know yet, but we'll be figuring out soon. So throw us $1. We did Independence Day last month. This month, we're doing Life of Brian. But this week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching Sgt Kabukiman NYPD.
His name is Sergeant Harry Griswold. He's an undercover cop who takes his job seriously.
I need to commandeer this vehicle.
And he's always careful. Crime is at an all-time high. And to make matters worse, an ancient prophecy has unleashed an unbelievable evil spirit. And Griswold is caught in the middle of the crossfire. Strange things begin happening all around him, and even stranger things begin happening to him.
A regrettable twist of fate has chosen you as a recipient of amazing supermortal powers.
He is crazy. He is confused. And he is turning Japanese.
Can't believe this. I'm eating smelly dead fish, and I'm loving it.
But raw fish is chopped liver compared to the wild adventure that is about to take over Griswold's life. He becomes Sgt Kabukiman NYPD, able to leap tall muggers with a running start.
If we do not begin to try and master your powers, there will be no champion to oppose the evil one.
Only a beautiful, tender woman, Lotus, can carefully teach Harry the subtle nuances of the Kabuki way. She becomes his gentle, sensitive sensei. She trains him in the proper use of Kabukiman's amazing arsenal of high-tech super weapons, heat-seeking chopsticks, computerized 16-byte sushi, futuristic flying footwear, bulletproof gale force fans, and pyro-projectile parasols. He is a one-man army of awesome Oriental artifacts. He is Sgt Kabukiman NYPD.
This guy in the bathrobe is a real hero.
Real New York hero, huh?
Yeah.
And of course, he's a real New York lover, too. Meanwhile, crime is still running rampant. And time is running out.
My time.
The evil one is worse than any criminal Griswold has ever faced. And uglier, too. And when they get their hands on Lotus, Sergeant Kabukiman is ready for the ultimate battle. No more monkeying around. He is a cop, and he is a legendary superhero. He is America's first accidental Oriental crime-fighting hero. His name is Harry Griswold, but you can call him Sgt Kabukiman NYPD.
Who are you? I'm Kabukiman.
Accidental Oriental. What did he say? Accidental Oriental superhero?
Crime fighting hero.
Crime fighting hero.
Accidental Oriental. Oh, Lordy. Yes, Sergeant Kabukiman, NYPD.
Not to be confused with Chicago PD.
Yeah, right. Sergeant Kabukiman. Yeah, Chicago PD.
Police franchise.
It's a franchise, yeah.
Trauma actually teased a sequel that was Sergeant Kabukiman LAPD that never got made.
That would have been kind of dope, actually.
Yeah.
Another Sergeant Kabukiman.
If they took it to
48
LA.
hours.
I mean, they were definitely shooting for it to be, Toxie-sized, but I don't think it never quite got the Toxie prestige.
Yeah, the lightning in a bottle that was the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, right. That took a nation by storm.
I think if they'd released this in 91, it would have been a lot better than releasing it in 96.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did. Hey, Sergeant Kabukiman, I have read, does have a cameo in the upcoming Toxie 4 that we will be covering. Came out in the year 2000.
Yay.
So, yeah, this movie had a running time of 105 minutes.
And it only felt like 3 hours.
Right. It was released in 1996-ish. So, okay, we're not going to be doing the top 10 box office this week because it did not have a clear release date. It was put into some theaters in 1996. It was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert in 1996, which we will be getting to shortly. But it didn't.
I wonder if he had to renew the copyright. I wonder if it was something like that.
Well, I mean, he was.
What was the impetus for the one theater?
Well, he was trying to get it. He was pushing for a theatrical release for years. So it wasn't like he dropped it and then tried to put it in 96. He was taking it to Cannes every year for like 5 years. Cannes. He was taking it there like every year for 5 years. He was trying to get some sort of distribution deal. And eventually in 96, he got a small one. And so it was released into multiple theaters in 96, a few art houses. And yeah, that's, and then I guess that was good enough.
He had to edit it to PG-13 to get it into theaters in 96, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was the PG-13 version that was released. The R version is the one that I believe exists on streaming at this time. That's the one I watched anyways. So yeah, and it was made around 91 originally. We didn't do it then because it was not released till 96. And the theatrical release is part of our list. Otherwise, there's a lot of ones we'd be doing. Our list would be way longer.
Well, I think it opened at 11.
I don't know. It didn't. I checked it. It's not on Box Office Mojo. I'm unable to find data on it. So I imagine it released.
I'm going to say it opened under Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Such little data. We can't even poke at it.
Yeah. It was released. It came in last. That's.
Do we know the number of theaters that it released to? Like
no,
3? Or are we talking like 30?
I couldn't even find that. It was a small enough number that there was no box office data on it.
I did a few Google searches pertaining to the movie at different times, and there is no information about Kabukiman out there.
No, it's a fever dream more than anything else.
Limited.
What was the other movie that didn't have any information about it? The Disney one about the fucking superhero?
Condor Man.
Condor Man. So is this our second just like scorched earth film?
It's been wiped.
Yeah. Well, I think Disney did wipe Condor Man from the face of the internet, whereas this one,
they're just waiting to bring him back, man.
Yeah, this one there's just not enough interest. Hey, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Condor Man ended up in Thor: Love and Thunder.
He's in the MCU.
We just need to tweet bomb Taika about Condor Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie? Just clip at a time. Anyways,
a clip at a time.
Just we'll feed him 30 seconds a day.
Let's make it happen, boys.
We'll get restraining orders.
Sorry, Taika.
Like, this feels threatening. I don't know why.
Condor Man. This episode of Kabukiman brought to you by Condor Man.
No, Condor Man had such a catchy theme, and so did this one. Sergeant Kabukiman has been stuck in my head for days.
I was watching original Star Trek yesterday, and I was watching the episode where the Romulans are introduced, and there's a shot from below of the warbird or the bird of prey, whatever, but it's painted like a bird, and it looks exactly like the Condor Man paintings on his vehicles. And that's exactly what I was just like, Condor Man's in that shit. But alas, it was some
they looked like Kabukiman's hat or his hair.
They did. Same shape.
Yeah. It's pretty similar.
So, okay. So this movie was directed by Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz, just like the Toxies. Written by Lloyd Kaufman, Andrew Osborne, and Jeffrey Sass, who are kind of just a Troma stable of writers. They wrote a bunch of Troma stuff. But while filming The Toxic Avenger Part 2 in Japan, where the original Toxie had been a major hit, apparently, Kaufman and Hertz were approached by Tetsu Fujimura and Masaya Nakamura of Namco, the video game makers. Yes, they made Pac-Man.
Like Pac-Man.
Yeah, Dig Dug, Soul Calibur, Ridge Racer, Tekken.
Pac-Man and Soul Calibur.
Right.
Holy shit. And Tekken, yeah. That's pretty broad.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Long history.
So they were approached by Namco to make a superhero movie. And Namco actually did give them $1.5 million to make this.
To make this?
Yes.
They still didn't release it? Or did they give them this money after 91? When did this happen?
No, they gave him $1.5 million to make a Japanese themed superhero movie. But then creative differences troubled the production. Namco and Hertz wanted to make a more mainstream, accessible film geared towards children, whereas Kaufman was like, no, we're going to Troma it up.
Yeah, he's like, racism.
Yeah, he's like, let's make it racist with a lot of nudity.
Yeah. And
so during the filming of Toxie, there was, in the movie, there was a character, one of the Japanese goons that vaguely resembled this Kabukiman, that Toxie makes a reference. He says, oh, Kabukiman, before he fights it. And so Kaufman I think he joked around about making that a new superhero movie, like turning that into a movie. And that's when, so the guys from Namco caught wind of that. They heard that comment and they said, yes, here's money, do it.
Oh my God. That was, well, it was an idea and it was made into a film. So I guess it was successful in that it now exists.
From a kernel all the way up to a mighty cornstalk.
Yeah, you know what? We give so many films so much shit, but there's so many movies that exist only in people's brains. So I guess the fact that this exists at all in an actual film form, like, kudos to you guys.
funny you say that. I've thought that almost all my life. Just like this guy got in a room, and everybody on that day at that moment agreed. And then there's, Ace Ventura, something like that. Like how does that get made?
Oh, yeah,
I'm glad it did, but how does that sound in an elevator pitch?
Yeah, that's not unlike this. Well, there's still some racism in that. But yeah, anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're going to name racist movies?
Because we really can't watch a movie before 2017 in that case.
Oh, God, for real. Yeah. God.
We're going to do the racism rankings?
This one's up there.
Ooh, new podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Harmless racism.
Yeah. Four white guys tell you what's up.
Oh, Jesus.
Harmless.
Harmless.
Yeah, like this.
Lord.
Like Sgt Kabukiman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes.
I don't know that it hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, no,
but it could.
I don't think that enough people saw it. It wasn't in danger of
just the people in Namco.
Well, and
damn, you managed to insult us.
And like, we gave you $1 million. What the fuck, man?
Well, and I mean, I get the feeling that Lloyd Kaufman really thought that he was honoring the Japanese culture. Sure. Like,
same, I hate to say it, but I do feel like, he thought that he was doing well.
Yeah.
By some tradition.
Well, and sometimes he sort of plays with it and it's cute. And then other times it's like he's eating a raw fish like we've seen mutant creatures eat in movies.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right. The Japanese culture is very delicate.
Yeah. New York had sushi places in the 80s. It was kind of like a thing, the yuppie 80s sushi thing. Like that was a trope.
Yeah. And before that, we were familiar with eating fish in general.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a culture.
Yes. Fish was available in North America.
Prepared in many ways.
All right, this starred Rick Gianassi as.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked him.
It was fun.
The New York Times compared him to because the New York Times reviewed this too in 1996. They compared him to a cross between Columbo and Jim Carrey.
I see. Yeah, all right. That's okay. Who was it? Do you see the reviewer's name? What was his name? Vincent Gamby?
Yeah, I'd have to look it up again. He also starred in Bad Girls Dormitory, Robot Holocaust, Mutant Hunt, Riot on 42nd Street, The Occultist. I'm just naming like Troma movies.
Are you making these up? Is this real?
Yes. Yeah. He was in an episode of Star Trek Voyager. He was in an episode of Caroline in the City. He played a waiter in Felicity. There was a Troma's Edge TV show in which he did play Sgt Kabukiman again in an episode. And the most recent credit he has was in the year 2000. He played, he was in an episode of Time Quest. Susan.
Well,
do you guys know what Time Quest is?
No.
Yeah. Why do you have to chase time? Isn't it all around you?
Right.
It's just happening.
We have Susan Bayun as was Lotus. She was
she was also good. The female leads were pretty good in this movie.
Yeah,
it's been many movies since we've said this, but yes, relative to the film, they were good actors.
Yes,
but,
yes.
La Rosa, I was into like the scene in the park. She's acting her ass off, and then it just turns for her.
Yeah,
it turned for every single female actress in this movie.
It turned for all of us.
And at some point, we're going to have a man rip your top off.
Yep. Well, you know that.
Well, they knew what they were getting into.
I mean, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you guys notice that we had a couple of Toxie? I wouldn't call them cameos exactly, but bit parts there.
The Goop.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
There was one point where they were talking about going to Tromaville, but then the actors too. What's her face that played the was playing one of the hench women, the one that got eaten by the tiger. She was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who was it? Sarah or what? Whoever played the second blind girlfriend of Toxie.
Yeah.
She's the one that drops the fish.
Yeah, the waitress.
yeah.
On the plate in the restaurant.
Phoebe Legere. She played Claire.
Yes.
Huh.
Claire. Yeah.
And she was the waitress in this.
The devil was the news broadcaster.
That's right. He was
Oh,
the beginning.
yeah.
With the cheeky British accent the whole time.
Well,
He
yeah,
actually wasn't a news broadcaster. He was the interviewer for lifestyles of the wealthy and well-known.
Oh,
that was
that's
his
right.
Robin, that was his Robin Leach impression.
Yeah.
We don't know where Robin Leach was from.
But yeah, that was Rick Collins, the actor. The donut dude.
Oh God, yes.
The friggin'
Was that the mayor?
donut cop. Was it the mayor? I didn't look up.
I wondered if it was the mayor.
who
The
he
guy that was
was,
getting
but-
the massage while he was.
Oh no, he wasn't the mayor.
Okay,
He was in Toxie though.
he was definitely in it.
He was, yeah, he was definitely in it. But I just forget his character.
I wish that chubby black guy from Toxie 2 was in it. The
Oh,
one
he
man
was
so
amazing.
passionate
Poison
about
the Atlantic Ocean.
the Atlantic.
That guy would have been great
Yeah.
addition.
All right, so there are some other cameos. This is what blew my mind, and maybe you guys have any of you seen the Tiger King or been following any of that Tiger?
I haven't
bullshit?
watched it yet.
I'm aware, but I've been avoiding it.
I've heard that. I've heard that Carol Baskins
What-
is bad.
Yeah, they're all pretty bad, and so is the series. But there's another Tiger King. There's several in the movie. This guy Doc Antle is what he's called, and he's wild in this documentary. He raises tigers. He raises them for cinema use as well. But he has like a harem of women. He's married to like 4 women, and he has this like tiger sex cult. Well, he's in this movie.
Oh, what I assume in the scene with the tiger.
He's in a few scenes as the very tall henchman who doesn't say anything. He's always holding the gun. But it just blew my mind because that is such a big deal right now on social media and pop culture. And filmed in 91, released in 96.
Well, I imagine they probably put him in because like they had tiger in this. They probably needed a tiger guy.
Oh, yeah, he did all the animals. He did the little baboon. Was that a mandrill or a baboon?
I don't know. They just kept calling him a monkey, which he was not a monkey.
I think the lemur was freelance. But everybody else.
There was a lion at one point too.
Yes.
For some reason, they like brought the lion. Like, oh shit, you said tiger.
Our bad.
Like speaking of Ace Ventura, he did all the animals in Ace Ventura. You know.
Wow.
But it was just so. I'm flipping through the cast on IMDb and I see his face and I never would have known. But yeah,
time is a flat circle. That's fucking crazy.
It is. All right.
So wow, yeah, that's amazing. Susan Byan played Lotus. She was this was her earliest credit. She was also she went on to be in a TV movie called The Girl Who Came Between Them. She was in an episode of Tour of Duty, an episode of Designing Women. She was in The Bold and the Beautiful, China Beach, LA Law, Dead Connection, Deadly Target, The Rockford Files, Friends and Foul Play, the TV movie from 1996.
Oh my God, I'm going to look that up.
Spycraft, The Great Game, which was a video game from 96 she had a voice credit in. We had Bill Whedon was in this. He was also he has a long list of credits actually.
And he's Stewart's he's Stewart, right?
Yes.
The little guy with the white hair.
Yeah. So let's see. He was in Miller's Crossing, Malcolm X, The Age of Innocence.
Wow.
Let's see. The Hudsucker Proxy. He was in Sale of the Century in 1969. He started early. Let's see. Wow. John and Mary, My Life's Turnaround. He was in Carlito's Way. Yeah, he will be in Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4.
Subtitled The Age of Innocence.
Right. He's in a bunch of his 2000s credits are hilarious. It's fun to help poor people. Starved. The Radium Follies. The Last Man in Brooklyn. El Otro Lado. Something called Dissonance.
Something called Dissonance. You read every other title. They're all something called.
Right. They're out of business. Mysteries at the Museum. He was on Inside Llewyn Davis. So I mean he's obviously got a connection to the whatchamacallit brothers. Coen brothers, yeah. I wanted to say Fairly. I was like, no, those are different brothers. My Rabbit Stories. He was in Celebrity Ghost Stories. Between the Scenes, Scary Sticky Stories, Hercules in Paradise.
Was he the ghost in the Celebrity Ghost Story?
I hope so.
Like sometimes at night I see Whedon, whatever.
Snow White 2, The Day of the Wicked Mothers. He was on The Daily Show, The Cicada Hunk, and my single favorite one ever. I have to watch this movie. Are We Not Cats?
Did Mark Mothersbaugh write that? Are we not cats? CATS. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, he's had an interesting career. And like the most prestigious actor ever in a Troma film, at least that we've come across so far.
Yeah, you could tell he was also good.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the guy that's gonna play? Was it Spawn?
Oh, yes.
Jai White.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He was very
Michael Jai White. Yeah,
he was very prestigious. I don't know if he had. I mean, the Coen brothers, Carlito's Way. That might
this
actually
is true. Yeah,
prestige-wise, that might actually trump Spawn.
fair.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as Miller's Crossing, but it was better than Llewellyn Davis.
I would love to see the Coen brothers Spawn, though.
That'd be great.
Oh shit!
Like an awkward Spawn.
As we said, this movie was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert.
Kabukiman Sanjo.
It's summertime, and that means time for drive-in style exploitation films, and I'm going to review 2 in a row. Both would-be camp items. And let's start with, how about this title? Sgt Kabukiman NYPD, and I wish the movie were as amusing as the title, but it's not. It follows the adventures of an American cop who is transformed into an Asian crime-fighting machine. That's Rick Gianassi as Sgt. Kabukiman, and he's a reluctant superhero. That's one of the gags in the movie, even when he's around an Asian woman who has been training him for his ultimate test against the evil one.
Clearly you have no comprehension of the scope of your mission. The evil one never sleeps. You must be ready for an attack at any time.
Sgt. Kabukiman NYPD is a cheap production without many laughs or much real wit. I think I like the idea of it more than the reality. Same can be said for a better, much better, campier movie, Switchblade Sisters, a 1975 girl gang exploitation picture that has attracted the attention of cult film director Quentin Tarantino, and thanks to him is now being revived around the country. Switchblade Sisters starts out like a lot of fun. Some of the dialogue is quite arch and intentionally so and very funny, and I was enjoying it as a cultural artifact from the low-budget 70s exploitation genre, but then it got very old in its third act, and I didn't care a bit about the story. In other words, a few minutes, maybe a half an hour with Switchblade Sisters is all you really need to have a good time.
Well, we're kind of comparing apples and oranges here,
Yes.
but I like Kabukiman better than Switchblade
Wow.
Sisters. I'm going to start with Switchblade Sisters and just say that seeing this film 20 years after it was made was a real shock for me because it reveals how much better young directors and young writers and young actors are today with low-budget movies than they were 20 years ago. This movie is amateur night.
Well,
it's badly photographed, it's badly written, and frankly, it's very badly acted, too. And when you see now the new movies that are coming up through the Sundance Film Festival, for example, you see a much higher level of professionalism.
Except that I don't think that was a young filmmaker starting out in his career.
Well, then that's even sadder than that.
Okay. But you really enjoyed Sgt Kabukiman?
I liked it, but there was more to look at. It was more, it tried harder, it had more variety. I mean, Switchblade Sisters is by the numbers.
Would you
it's an exploitation gang picture.
Okay, let's go to this. Yeah. Would you actually recommend, are you giving thumbs up to Sgt Kabukiman?
No, I'm not giving thumbs up to either one, but I'm recommending Sgt Kabukiman as the choice between these two films.
I was just about to check your pulse. I knew that it was 2 thumbs down. When we come back, a new movie version of perhaps the most popular opera of all time, Madame Butterfly.
Yeah, Gene, I love Gene's scissors, not scissors.
I love his scissors
Switchblade Sisters. He tells you exactly when he stopped enjoying it.
Right.
This makes you think like, oh, so you finished, Gene. That's what you mean.
Oh, man.
I also love
the last half hour was boring, a lot of talking.
He coaxed the thumbs down out of him. So, I mean, what do you really think? We're all here for your vote.
The first half I was thumbs up.
It's like, I don't give a shit about your critique. Show me your thumb.
Show me your thumb.
Show me your thumb, Roger.
Yeah, Gene didn't. He didn't get it. He doesn't get Lloyd Kaufman.
No,
it's not for Gene Siskel.
No, it is
that
not.
A bad thing though? Because I mean, I think I get Lloyd Kaufman enough, and I still don't get Lloyd Kaufman.
No,
well, good.
Yeah,
you know,
some of this stuff we're not supposed to understand why that dude thinks it's funny.
I'd love this.
But we could all feel the Lloyd Kaufman all over this movie. Like we've watched now enough that we. There's that part. There's that beat. There's that beat.
Totally. We can recognize his style at this point, and this is only, I guess this is the fourth one.
Stink to it.
Oh my God. Is Lloyd
that raw meat and raw fish smell.
Is Lloyd Kaufman the filmmaker we've seen the most of at this point? This is the fourth Lloyd Kaufman film.
Or, God, what was that guy's name who did all the Superman movies, or the 2 Superman movies? Half of the fourth one.
Richard Donner.
Richard Donner. No, he did 1.5, and then what's his face that did Hard Day's Night?
Richard Lester.
Lester, yes. No, we've seen more Lloyd Kaufman movies than any other director so far.
Yeah, because there'll be another Schumacher, but he only did 2, right?
Yeah. We will
2
get
Burton, 2 Schumacher.
Yeah. We will eventually get quite a few Raimis. At least
that's right.
At least 4 Raimis before we're done, and 5.
And that's bridge once you get 4 Raimis.
That's right. So we ready to jump in this, guys?
I wanted to mention a couple things really quick. Did we mention before that they were talking about making a Toxic Avenger remake?
Yes,
we did mention that.
Brought that up, yeah.
So Lloyd Kaufman, he's all for that, but he's saying that he wants to make a Toxic Avenger 5 that is supposed to be released at the same time that the remake comes out, whenever that is. They've been talking about it since 2011 or something like that.
Such a troll. He's the worst.
Yeah,
but
like he has bargaining power.
He wants to make his own. He wants to do a full sequel, Troma style. And this one, it said Toxic Twins, the Toxic Avenger 5, in which he says Kabukiman will play a large role.
Oh my God.
That demand is somehow ridiculous and badass at the same time.
Completely.
Also, in 2015, there was a little show, a talk show called Kabukiman's Cocktail Corner.
Holy shit.
Where he was
like the Dean Martin show.
Was it on public access television?
I don't know what it was on. There were 10 episodes. So he was a talk show host who would interview musicians, comedians, authors.
As Kabukiman?
as Kabuki Man. Yeah,
he was the David Letterman of dudes in face paint.
Was it the same guy?
It wasn't this same guy. No.
I mean, I guess they changed Toxies.
I didn't write down his name, but whoever it was had been passed the mantle of Kabuki Man from Rick Giannossi.
It was Val Kilmer.
I was thinking Conan O'Brien, but Val Kilmer.
Giant.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
World's tallest Kabuki Man. I mean, probably the world's only Kabuki Man. There's only one at a time. It's like,
oh right,
it's like very vague. It's like prophecy. The Slayer.
Well, they call him the chosen one, but they don't bother telling us why.
So wow. All right. So here we go, guys. We're gonna jump in this thing.
Hi.
Yeah.
This is Sgt Kabukiman NYPD. We open.
Okay, the first closed caption is non-English speak.
That's right.
That was the first closed caption.
Non-English speak.
They couldn't say Japanese or anything.
Well, because I don't think he was really saying anything. He was just kind of going, no.
Fair enough.
Yep.
And a prophecy. There was an evil one that was banished, and a chosen one that fought him. But the evil one will be coming back. And this time, he's going to be in New York, like Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. So, does anybody want to talk about the different harbingers of the evil one coming? So a monkey has to lease a jaguar.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dragon goes through a hoop in the sky.
Yeah.
A constellation. Yeah.
At the end of Mercury's next journey, did we get what Mercury's? I mean, I guess there was the thing. Was there?
It lines up the constellations.
The dragon shall dance through the hoop of Jupiter.
The hoop of Jupiter?
Yes, the hoop of Jupiter.
I felt like I was having a middle or elementary school sort of. Saturn has the loops, right?
Yes, Saturn and Uranus.
Jupiter also has a smaller, fainter ring.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do we know? Yeah. Okay.
So, and it says, if at that moment the monkey shall ride the jaguar and the tiger shall feast on the nubile, then
that's nice and vague.
Yeah. Then the order of the universe will be such that the evil one shall reign supreme for eternity. So
sweet.
If those two things happen at that specific moment, the situation will be such that the evil one can do this thing.
But it only happens once every 1,000 years.
This is like some rental car like lease language.
The dragon only dances through the hoop of Jupiter every 1,000 years.
Yet the evil one never sleeps. That's a quote from Lotus.
So was that guy not sleeping? I don't know.
That's got to be really tiring.
For 1,000 years just waiting.
Well, we never saw him sleep, so maybe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I couldn't believe that it took so long to see the evil one. I know we'll get there, but it was like, Jesus, did they just abandon their whole...
This movie was built around the plot from Toxie 2. Or Toxic, which one was it with the devil? Was that 3?
That was 3. Yeah.
3. Yeah. It just felt like that movie.
Oh, yeah. No. There was a lot of, it was very Troma in that, like, we're just going to kind of meander off in another direction for a while, and then maybe we'll come back to the plot.
This movie needs romance. It needs a romantic subplot.
Yeah.
Well, that part
that's what I mean. It had that. That's where they meandered to.
Well,
that is where they meandered.
And it was in the theme.
No.
It was in the theme song, but again, like, it didn't come in until like at least halfway through that love is the source of his power.
So does that mean that like Kabuki Man throughout history was just shacking up all the time, just falling in love everywhere he went? Because that seems to be part of this Kabuki Man's identity. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So if
Kabuki masters, they get the ladies.
Yeah. I mean, they're essentially actors. So.
Yeah.
Full of it.
Yeah. Again, let's point out Kabuki is not. Oh, hey there, kitty. Kabuki is not.
Yeah, it's shadow.
Right? It's not a martial art or anything. It is theater.
No,
it's a theater
it's a
form.
full theater.
Yeah.
For any of our listeners who are unfamiliar with Kabuki, perhaps we should explain that Kabuki is, in fact, a form of Japanese theater, which has nothing to do with fighting.
Operas, right? That's what I'm seeing. It's basically Japanese opera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah. This guy's a superhero in the tradition of Japanese opera.
Yes, for some reason.
So back to the prophecy. As we see later, these things are easily contrived. You can just pull this prophecy together. Really, any day you have the materials.
You just go lease a Jaguar.
Right. Well, no, but I mean, we did have to wait for the sky animation.
Right, the constellation. Oh, yeah. Yes, the Mercury's. Yeah. I thought it was another car reference.
But
once the Mercury and the Jaguar are here,
I felt like it was like a planetarium show. Yeah.
Yeah, they even say,
Jude came in right at the end of that, and he was watching. He was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
I was like, we're so far in, I really can't explain.
That scene looked like it was made on an overhead projector.
In a 7th grade math class.
Yeah, it was just a junior high library.
One of the thugs even says it's like the planetarium.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the evil one himself.
Oh,
or not the evil. He was still Reginald Stewart at that point, I think. I forget.
Was it? I mean. He was always the evil one.
The arrows, appear in the sky. He's like, "Do you see the dragon? Let me help you out."
Looking arrows. The point. I actually said no. Like I was watching the Electric Company or something.
You get up close to the screen and start saying like, "C is for cookie."
I worked very briefly, not briefly, for years, at a museum that had a planetarium like that. But very briefly, we had that system while I worked there, and we retired the like old style, like shutter cassette tape style machines, and it looked just like that. And now it's like fucking high tech laser dome thing. Yeah.
Where was the museum? Located
in Hawaii. Bishop Museum.
Awesome.
Hawaii. Amazing planetarium. Go check it out if you're on vacation in Hawaii.
It was a hell of a commute from Tucson.
Let's do the life of Brian.
Oh God. But yeah, that's what that shit made me think of. I was like, fuck, this is like antique planetarium shit.
Old school. Yeah. He spent all his money on tigers.
Okay. So that covers it for the prologue. We get to New York. There's homeless.
No, we don't get to New York. It turns out that the grandfather and Lotus
are in New York.
That's not Japan.
No, they're in New York.
They're in the dressing room of the Odd Couple.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So so in New York.
Yeah, so in New York, homeless people and yuppies abound. There's a high-rise apartment where a knife-wielding maniac in a wig kills the current Kabuki man and throws his girlfriend out the window to her death, and some kids. There's some kids in there too.
Well, okay, it's right on cue, the kids.
It's Ichiro's kids.
But yeah, backing up, there's those two lawyers doing cocaine. Ichiro's kids, they're in the credits. There are two lawyers.
Those kids are Kaufman's.
Yeah, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
His wife's in it too. They look like him. They look like little baby Kaufmans. But anyways, those two lawyers are doing cocaine.
Yeah, on the roof of the car.
On the roof of the Mercedes.
Yeah.
And that's where they first mentioned the Stewart Pandex account. So we end up knowing who Stewart is, but we never
find out about Pandex.
No, we never meet his partner Pandex.
It's like a Dunder Mifflin situation.
Yeah.
He must have killed Pandex. But also, if you kind of mush them together, it's spandex.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Troma's all about spandex.
Yeah. They mentioned this.
If you take out the Stewart, it's spandex.
Yes. That's how you smash words together. So yeah, the couple's doing it passionately while the kids are watching TV.
We get our first
adorable
boobs.
kids. That's a trauma thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, that is a trauma thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're murdered by. And this is a classic trauma villain, which is a dude that's doing a weird kind of gender bendery thing for no apparent reason.
Right. Yeah.
And named after a classic painter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rembrandt.
Yeah.
He's an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his art is death.
But Lloyd Kaufman always has transvestites as bad guys. It's very odd. There hasn't been a good guy transvestite.
Yeah, no, and always in a very like 80s, like it's just a mustachioed man in a wig kind of way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So did anybody notice that even though she had 2 children, before she was thrown out the window, she grabbed her tickets to The Odd Couple? No, my tickets! I should scalp these
on my way down.
I didn't notice what it said on the tickets that it said The Odd Couple. I didn't make the connection until I was watching them perform it. And it was like,
you're like, this seems familiar,
because it had Oscar's son smoking a cigar and playing poker, and Felix San comes in and starts feather dustering his face.
Yeah, it's a scene from The Odd Couple. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
The first time Felix is there for the poker game.
I got to say that is legit hilarious that they did The Odd Couple as Kabuki.
And it's called
that is
The
great.
Kabuki Odd Couple. Yeah, Felix San.
So we meet Sergeant Harry Griswold. He's investigating the crime and doing some patented trauma voiceover.
I didn't like that was his last name. All I could think of was Chevy Chase.
Yeah, for sure.
Griswold.
I kept wanting to call him Clark.
Yeah.
So then we meet Reginald Stewart, a billionaire who's funding an amateur kabuki troupe. Well, this is the lifestyles of the rich and famous thingy. The wealthy and well-known.
I think it was great that Griswold was introduced with a very contemplative sauerkraut eating close
the hot dog, yeah.
I thought the sauerkraut was going to be a part of the prophecy somehow.
And he had to call off his date with what's her face what was her name? Carlita? I don't know. I have it.
Connie LaRosa.
Yeah.
Connie LaRosa.
Yeah, he had to call off his date with Connie to investigate the crime, which he goes to the Kabuki theater. He doesn't actually go to the scene of the crime. I assume he came from there. So yeah.
And on the way to the theater, before he got the hot dog, he got pickpocketed by some lady.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
She was feeling him up on Times Square.
So yeah, he's not a very good cop.
No,
yeah, seriously,
he's not.
But he's the chosen one.
And so yeah, we meet Reginald Stewart, and I originally I thought his name was Stuart Pandex.
Same.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's also funding the Kabuki troupe. We see the old man and
he's a patron of the arts.
Right. We see the old man
Medici
and his grandfather from the prophecy at the beginning.
Like Medici.
Right. Like Medici. They're part of a troupe and they're performing a ritual to pass the powers of Kabuki Man to a new host. It involves worms.
Yeah.
You gotta eat them.
And a kiss. An open mouth, just kind of sexual kiss.
Right. And I thought to myself, that situation would have been totally plausible for the cop to give the old man mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. But instead, Lloyd went with uncomfortable gay face suck.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, if he didn't, then it wouldn't be a trauma film.
Okay. We're done here.
Yeah. It knows what it is, I guess.
Yeah. It definitely knows.
Sergeant Griswold arrives at...
I just wanted to say, since we got to the kiss, at some point, Rembrandt was trying to kiss the Kabuki Man on stage.
Oh,
he knew
So
that was the way.
He was trying to get the power.
Transferred.
Huh.
Yeah. So I on second rewatch, but he was very driven to. It was a trap for Kabukiman.
So many layers.
Wow.
Layers, man. That were not well translated.
And even though Stewart's funding the whole theater project, they didn't realize the old man was in one of the dressing rooms in the back. Just go to him directly. Don't let
do it on stage, not in the private of the dressing room.
And the way they get up and leave, like, I don't know, it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, all right. So Sergeant Griswold arrives at the performance, and the Kabuki performers and many audience members are massacred by a bunch of...
Did you say Kabuki formers? Because I like that. Kabuki formers.
I heard farmers, and I also like that.
I said Kabuki performers, but we can go with Kabuki farmers.
New band name.
New band name.
And many audience members are massacred by a bunch of gun-wielding thugs in disguise, including Rembrandt.
And the audience thinks it's a part of the show, but they're still laughing a little too heartedly at this massacre.
No, they think it's hilarious, which, again, is very Troma. It's funny until they kill me.
Yeah.
So Griswold saves the drum princess's life, and the old man makes out with him, passing on the essence of Kabukiman to him before he dies.
Oh. Were you going to say something now? I have a question. So,
go ahead.
Was he not the quote unquote chosen one, and it was just sort of the old man's going to die and needed a vessel, and he was literally laying next to him?
Yeah,
I feel like the chosen one is loosely, it's not accurate. It's basically whoever the current Kabukiman chooses.
See,
it's not like fate or destiny.
Yeah, because they talk about
it
chosen.
He was fated to be there. Like he was drawn there for some reason.
Well, I mean, they talk about a chosen one, but then they also talk about how he's the accidental Oriental super.
Right.
Super.
Yeah.
And it was Ichiro who was supposed to have been passed the powers.
Oh, the guy who was murdered.
Yeah, because he was. He was one of the Kabuki actors.
Yeah.
So he wasn't already Kabukiman and got murdered?
No, even though
he mentions it.
Even though Rembrandt called him Kabukiman, but he wasn't yet. It was still Grandpa Sato.
Oh, Grandpa was Kabukiman.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy was an intern.
This movie is so complex. That's
one way of describing it.
Complex, confusing as fuck, Either way. So the gunmen escape. Griswold runs outside after them, only to turn into Kabukiman partially. He run with like the way it was like the watery paint spewing like from his face. It was
the milk.
Very Troma. He runs back inside only to be humiliated in front of the other cops for his costume, who finally arrived.
Some of the transformation stuff was fun. Some of the sounds and the effects were very anime, just very like taken from like Japanese pop culture, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also
he does
kind
a good transformation.
Terrifying.
Yeah, there were some gross, especially the last one, but he does a good transformation scene, Kaufman, but it took way too long in this movie. If I was a criminal, I would not have stood around.
Did anyone else watch this with headphones or earbuds on? Because
with the terrible hum in the background?
There was
that hum.
It was scratchy.
Yeah, it was
like technical difficulties are real. We know that. But
like, that was because they were using the actual. Usually 90% of these movies, these Troma films, are ADR'd, and this was a lot of ADR. But with the hum, they were using the actual sound from the scene for some reason. Like they just didn't have the time.
And they had like a terrible ground loop going on. Like whatever their generator was doing was causing them some issues. Like it was obvious the whole time until they were inside.
Yeah.
And that hum went away.
Yeah.
It drove me nuts.
Well, and then there was the sound effects, all of the transformation sound effects were really intense in headphones.
Well, yeah, the P's popped and the S's, growled. Yeah. It was a bad. Can't believe they charged us for that.
And the sex scene, do not watch the sex scene with headphones on. Because there's a lot of Harry Griswold just going, oh yeah, yeah, oh Lotus, yeah.
Oh yeah. Terrible.
So, we cut to an office building inside of which we see the assassins that were employed by Reginald Stewart. He has a meeting with Reverend Snipes, who threatens Stewart.
So, this it got me thinking. Reginald, he's scolding Rembrandt for performing the killing on the stage. At this point, and it's because Rembrandt, it's his art, so he wanted to do it artistically. So the original plan was to just kill the guy discreetly, but Rembrandt had to do it better, do it with more panache.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't come here to act in the dressing room.
Okay, so
exactly.
So really, Rembrandt's the cause of this whole of the evil one's downfall by not just quietly taking care of him in the dressing room.
Yeah,
that's true.
Interesting.
So Reverend Snipes has another teen organization, clubhouse, his boys club or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's another villain with a youth program. And Stewart says, Snipes says to Stewart as a threat, people wouldn't want to know how you've donated to my organization. It's like, your church?
Right.
What organization? What?
Right.
No, the other organization.
Right. Yeah, which nobody knows about.
Right.
But it'll ruin you, Stewart.
If they find out. But not me, who runs this organization.
Right.
Yeah. And so, all of these movies have made me really wonder about the YMCA. What are they up to?
So there's always been a lot of questions surrounding the YMCA.
At least since the late 70s.
Most of my questions are about that song, but
yeah.
What exactly are an Indian and a construction worker doing in the same place at the same time? I don't know.
They're doing sex. Yeah, you guys didn't catch the subtext of that. They're doing sex things at a website.
So, all right. So Stewart's nephew Skipper bursts in, angry that he had to spend time in jail for the shooting. Skipper was supposed to take the fall for this whole thing.
He was annoying because of how loud he was, but I thought he was going to be the ongoing sort of comic relief, sort of like the Lenny Luthor kind of thing. Yeah. But did anyone catch who he was assaulted by? He calls him a 300-pound Filipino skinhead named Gunther.
Yes, that's right.
What's a Filipino skinhead? Are they is it Filipino supremacists?
It's half Filipino and half German. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He tries to go to the meetings.
They're like, you understand that there's a problem with the basic premise of you being here, right, Gunther?
Don't you get it?
If you don't,
the name though, perfect.
Yeah,
Gunther.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that the whole Skipper subplot came and went so fast. I was like, why are they bothering with this?
Oh man, the original Leatherface, his real name was Gunther something.
The actor or the character?
The actor.
Okay.
The actor.
Anyway. I always think of Gunther Gable Jr. from the circus.
Gunther Gable Williams, I think it is.
Oh yeah, not Gunther Gable Jr.
There might have been another one. Circus of the Stars. Yeah, that was a crazy show. I wish they'd bring that back.
Oh, wow.
Like imagine pushing James McAvoy off a 100-foot diving board.
Right. Circus of the Stars was crazy. Now they just have like that show where they like basically like play win, lose, or draw, basically. With like, yeah.
Well, you guys aren't into The Masked Singer?
Oh,
yeah, but there's nothing like Sally Struthers almost losing her life to really get your heart.
Right. B. Arthur's going to be doing some acrobatics
and handstands.
For the benefit of Mr. Kent. Where are we?
So Stewart kills Skipper, then drafts the Reverend into some sort of evil scheme. At home, Sergeant Griswold sees a vision of the dead old man in his mirror on his own face.
Did you see all the cans, all the beer cans?
Yeah, so many beer cans.
There's just everywhere.
Yeah,
behind all the furniture. Dude's a real alcoholic.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
And taking the bachelor pad joke to the nth degree, that's the staple, like we said. But what's funny is he's a Japanese hero. He's a bachelor pad shot with all the beer cans, but no Chinese takeout containers anywhere.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
Well, every bachelor has one in their fridge. Yeah.
Well, I think that they were trying to show that he was not into Japanese culture at all. He didn't like sushi or food or anything like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They show him drinking coffee at one point, and he's like, "Oh, coffee. Ugh."
He's like, I only like sauerkraut.
It's like, now I like tea for some reason. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
The next day,
yeah, it does become like becoming a vampire.
Yeah,
right. To eat a raw fish.
Bro, Japanese people drink coffee. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Well, I mean, lots of people drink coffee. It's native to Africa.
Yeah, in fact, the Japanese people are very similar in species to ourselves. No, that's the joke.
I know. Oh, I know.
I'm turning Japanese. I have to drink tea now.
It's like
aliens.
It's like he listened to the song Turning Japanese and was like, I'm just going to make a movie out of that.
Well, he didn't get it.
So the next day, Griswold arrives at the police station. He gets made fun of for his outfit from the night before and makes a date with Connie De La Rosa to go jogging.
Since when did shaking a boob at somebody become insulting?
Right.
And he's like, ooh, look at this. You're so gay. You love boobs.
Right.
It's just funny.
Well, and the other cops are so like the amount of gay panic is off the charts. Like it's like Chandler from Friends on overdrive.
And again, those like late 80s ideas of, what gay people are like, like,
oh God.
You look at Kabuki Man, that's the first thing you think of. Even if you don't know Kabuki, it's like that person's gay.
Yeah. If there's one thing I know, gay people will wear kimonos.
Well, yeah. And there was like a way that he said to the chief, he goes like, it's not a dress, chief. It's a kimono. Like,
yeah.
What are you,
he's learning.
Like, yeah. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he's called into the chief's office, who tells him that Stewart's men captured the shooter, who they say was Skipper. Griswold tells the captain that it wasn't Skipper, but the captain considers the case closed. He tells him that the granddaughter of one of the victims is waiting in the interrogation room, and he should go talk to her. But while he's sitting there,
he introduces the joke of the stolen shirts.
Yes,
which I think was, and it had a funny callback. And
I was
even the line, it's like, you're making me investigate 3 shirts. It's 4
shirts,
and they're mine. They're my shirts.
I was really upset that we never got the culmination of this. Yeah. We never found out who stole the shirts.
That would have been really funny to actually have that payoff at the end.
Yeah. I was really upset we never got the payoff to that. And while he's sitting there talking to the chief, his bottom half becomes half Kabuki Man.
Yeah.
This was my favorite transformation. The little like spring sounds and
the boner noise.
There's so many
the shoe melting.
The shoe melting and all the cartoon sound effects.
Yeah. How they threw the silk down his leg as the pants disappeared.
Yeah.
It was good. It was.
But confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Still had no fucking clue what was going on, but I was impressed.
Yeah. So he goes into the interrogation room. He talks to the granddaughter, whose name is Lotus, who tells him that he's now Kabukiman, tries to get him to eat some worms, and tells him that her grandfather was killed by the spirit of the evil one, and they have to find out who the evil one is. Griswold doesn't.
She has a box of worms.
In the interrogation room.
Box of fucking worms. Sorry, that's just like such a gross thing to just carry around with you.
Yes.
Are they like consuming each other? Because I assume that worms would be like, oh, what the fuck?
Well,
Put us back in the mud.
They eat dirt and turn it into into better dirt, per my understanding.
But there was no dirt in the box.
It was just worms, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
And she probably carried that thing on the subway all the way there, like, well.
And the cops let her bring it into the interrogation room.
Like, what's in the box?
Worms.
She comes in, she's like,
Okay.
I'll get him to talk. No, wait, what?
It's worms. It's just.
Well, and later on we find out he ate the whole box of worms.
Yeah, he did.
And there was actually a scene of the grandfather with the worms in his mouth. So, like, the man actually put the worms in his mouth. Yeah.
She calls him a penis-wielding imbecile.
Yes.
Imbecile.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Griswold doesn't buy the whole story. She gets angry and storms out. She gets angry a lot in this movie.
Well, nobody will listen to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
She's a girl.
She's like the Dr. Fauci of the this movie. So he goes to question Stewart, who's getting his shoes shined, and tries to lure him into his employ. But Griswold isn't interested.
The shoe shine joke was funny.
Yeah, it was. That was a legitimately funny gag.
Yeah.
Kind of Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Moment. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
You must have an enormous Braunschweiger.
Twoo, it's twoo.
So he tries to get Stewart to become his employee. Griswold isn't interested. Then he notices a Shogun sword, which he's inexplicably drawn to, and he has a sudden knowledge of how to use it.
And where it's from, what era.
Yeah, he knows everything about it all of a sudden.
Those worms were filled with knowledge.
He hasn't eaten any of the worms yet. Oh, no, he did. He got some worms in his mouth back on stage.
On that first kiss, man, he slipped him the worm.
Yeah.
Never slip the worms on the first kiss.
Yeah, it wasn't just one worm. It was many worms.
Yeah.
Yep, their worm budget was as good as their tiger budget.
They just went out after it rained and scooped them all up.
He's like, they grow on trees.
I'm waiting for the Netflix series The Worm King.
Lloyd Kaufman.
It's 15 minutes long.
There was even a worm trainer in the credits.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man!
I wish it said Wrangler. What was the one from Howard?
Duck Wrangler.
The one from Howard was what?
Was it Duck Wrangler?
Duck Wrangler.
No, it was like Duck Comforter. Duck
Comforter.
Shit.
The Duck Fluffer.
I comfort ducks.
It was something way more. All right. Anyway, it wasn't trainer or Wrangler. Duck support. Duck
it was
support.
Duck coach.
Duck coach.
You're right.
Go get him, boys.
Yeah.
Duck therapist. Whole team. Duck
He took to that football like a duck to water.
All right. So that afternoon.
So anyway, the worm trainer I think was just a gag because it turned out it was Susan L. Kaufman.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe they're worm collectors.
Yeah.
Thing? Sure.
Well, if that's his wife, she's in this. I mean, she has a speaking part, not just like his kids who probably couldn't speak.
They never taught them.
They were little. They were little. No, I guess one was like. But yeah, Lloyd's wife is in the kid's birthday party scene.
Is she the one with the wine?
Yeah, she's the blonde one.
Okay. There was a lot of ADR for her.
The funny.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. So that afternoon, Griswold goes jogging with Connie, who tells him that she's going to bust Reverend Snipes, who's using the youth centers as a front for a drug smuggling operation. And the whole thing is financed by Stewart. She and Griswold flirt, but then she decides to run a few more laps without him.
I thought she was really, really great, honestly, and I'm not being ironic. That scene in where she's walking back and forth and talking the details of the case, like I was excited that we were going to have this character.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie needed her not to die.
She was going to carry him nicely, I thought.
Yeah, it would have been great, except then like she's in the way of him and Lotus.
Which would have been great. It would have been more interesting than the fucking weird training romance.
Well, yes, but then you wouldn't have had.
They could have been friends. She could have gotten over it because she's a strong, independent woman that don't need no man.
Yeah,
pass the Bechdel test, bam.
But
we could have seen them both with their tops off, whatever,
simultaneously.
But, yeah. Not simultaneously. I mean, knowing Lloyd Kaufman, that could have been another outcome of this entire sequence of events.
But she's obviously a good detective, so we could have seen her die in, like investigating something or being apprehended by the bad guys.
She's a good detective, independent of Griswold.
Right.
They say that.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with him.
I thought that was fantastic.
Her death was not
dies in a park.
Yeah, badass cop.
Yeah, she dies in a terrible jogging accident.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so what happens in the park
she's
then?
Attacked
she goes for a jog?
Yeah, she's jogging and she's attacked by a gang of thugs that work for Snipes and is beaten and raped. Griswold hears her screaming and runs to help, but is attacked himself. He turns fully into Kabuki Man and beats up the gang in front of a crowd of witnesses. The cops arrive, and he reveals to them he's Griswold, and the thugs are arrested. Lotus also shows up.
This is the reveal of most of his powers. So
right, and at no point is him being Kabuki Man kept secret, yet everyone acts like they don't know who Kabuki Man is throughout the film.
Right.
Yeah.
And so let's see. One of the coolest effects, Brian mentioned it earlier, was when he slices that guy's baseball bat.
Yeah.
And then it falls in sequence. That was neat. The slice up. He had a fan, and he could blow people up into a tree with the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he had a grip of chopsticks. He could throw those at people.
They shot out of his sleeve, or?
Yeah.
He was like a porcupine, it seemed like.
Yeah, he porcupined the guy.
But
yeah.
that was right out of his sleeve. I think they just had camera facing front, and he just tossed a bunch of chopsticks. It just looked like a flurry of chopsticks, but then they all went, whatever.
Yeah.
But the funniest one was the sushi power. That was
where he rolled.
I wish I had that power.
He rolled the guy into sushi
like it was a gun.
Yeah, he shot the sushi into the lady thug's mouth.
Yeah, and
I wish my friends had those kinds of powers.
Yeah,
I'd be eating sushi all the time. I love sushi.
Yeah.
And if it was magical sushi, I'd trust it.
Yeah.
So this
sushi power.
Desert sushi.
Yeah.
I think it's a cooler power than all of Superman's.
All right. So Connie is taken to the hospital, and Harry and Lotus, while they're waiting to hear about her status, go out to eat. Lotus tries to convince Harry that the evil one will rise soon. He's still skeptical and insists he can't fight the evil one. She tells him he has no choice. He's been chosen. And we see in the background Reverend Snipes railing against Kabuki Man and blames the rape and beating of Connie on youthful indiscretions caused by poverty.
So that had a real Central Park 5 vibe to it.
Yeah.
And that was popular when this was made. And ironically enough, Donald Trump was at the forefront of that. But the 5 kids being accused of a gang rape in Central Park. A lot of New York political leaders getting up and taking one side or the other. So it was strange. make a comic sort of bit about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. it was. Again, very Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the preacher guy was really fucking heavy-handed in that moment too. Like, oh, I see why we built him to be what he was for this moment.
Well, yeah.
And he's like, the boys in my, because La Rosa, before her death, that chick jogs up to, it's like, I've been seeing you around the boys center, or what is it called? It's something boys, something. Specifically boys.
It
seems like there are a lot of women there.
Well, and
but yeah.
And also these boys are all 35 years old.
That's what I was going to say. They all hang around the club.
Well, and that guy weighs 280. I mean, holy shit, he's a dump truck of a man. He's enormous.
He was.
Yeah.
I thought his chest and muscles were latex at first. No joke. But yeah, that big dude was that big.
Yeah, he was huge.
Cartoonishly, yeah.
So watching, Stewart is angry that Snipes is causing such a scene. He orders Rembrandt to kill Connie in the hospital. Rembrandt goes and causes her to be overdosed on morphine.
That was kind of ingenious for a hitman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he could have walked in and just killed her, but instead he wrote these orders, these medical orders, and had the nurse do it.
Well, and the nurse is like, whoa, that's crazy. A lot of drugs. Oh, well, if the doctor says so.
Yeah, just a second before, she's like, asshole doctors won't even acknowledge a nurse. Oh, whatever you say, boss.
She's clearly struggling, too. Like, like trying to communicate with her, but like intubated. Like, what the fuck?
Like, she just needs aspirin. And then that guy walks in. He's like, she had a headache. Now she's dead. She had more than a headache.
All of these trauma movies are it's in the name. They're intentionally traumatic, like they just fucking come with like a fucking trigger warning on them.
Yeah,
but that scene is like a fucking nightmare. Being like intubated and screaming for help. I was like, oh my God, Christ, this is so dark.
Even though this is later in the night that's happened, there's a child's like get well soon poster up. There's a bouquet of flowers laying on her body and a little teddy bear next to her.
Community outreach.
Yeah, she's in ICU essentially.
Well, yeah.
All right, kids.
Yeah, like,
and it's a few hours later. Nobody visited her.
It's like Aunt Connie was beaten and raped. Let's take her a teddy bear
to make a poster.
Yeah, so she dies just as Griswold arrives. So then Griswold tries to convince the chief that there's a connection between the Kabuki massacre and Connie's death, but the chief won't listen and warns Griswold not to perform any more vigilante justice or dress up as Kabuki Man again.
Because he gets results, you stupid chief.
Right. So he goes and visits Reverend Snipes in church the next day, where Snipes is conducting his business. He confronts Snipes, and when Snipes' men step forward, Griswold tries to turn into Kabuki Man, but only succeeds in turning into a clown.
Okay, that's the most confusing thing about this whole movie.
Right? Why did he turn into a clown with clown powers?
Yeah, with clown powers. Yeah, it was like he had encountered kryptonite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of his powers, but not, yeah.
If he had turned like half into Kabuki Man, it would have made sense. But no, he turns fully into a clown.
Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah, like, was he like the Japanese influence unraveling or something? And he was becoming his natural Americanized Budweiser drinking self? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't near someone he loved.
So he just became a clown.
Everybody loves a clown.
Because that was like that became a thing.
I know that feeling.
It became a thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it did.
No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, actually, that's a plausible explanation.
His powers were fueled by love.
But
yeah,
I would get that if he like was unable to turn into Kabuki Man, but he fully turned into something different that still had some sort of powers.
Is Lloyd being just plain racist, Lloyd, again, or is he making sort of a connection like that? Those are our Kabuki performers. Is he equating
clowns are the Kabuki performers of the West?
Yeah.
I think that's what he was getting at. I really do.
I think it only comes down to one thing, is that the color for clothing and the white face paint. He was like, what else is color for clothing and white face paint? Clowns. And I think that might have been the whole of his thought process.
Well, they got almost 10 minutes of time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they got the clown outfit. They're going to use it all day when they're shooting.
I was confused. I mean, I was always confused while this movie was playing, but I was especially confused during this moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
So yeah. Okay.
Was it the church? It happened in the church, right?
Yeah. It was in the church.
Sort of Italian incantation, Latin mass.
So yeah,
the clown. I don't understand. It's not like you didn't have the Kabuki outfit. Like, oh, we don't have the outfit for a week, so let's fill in with some clown footage.
No, it was a choice. They made a choice. I mean, and they had to do the whole like changing effect and everything. It was like they had to do it. Yeah, I don't know. So okay, so he flees. The thugs give chase. He steals a tricycle, which turns into a unicycle, and they engage in a chase throughout the city, through a birthday party, and finally end up crashing into the chief's dry cleaners.
Yeah, funny callback there.
Yeah.
But they should have solved the crime. You guys are right. But instead, it's like, oh, man, remember those shirts?
Yeah, exactly.
So did anyone read about the car flip?
Oh yeah, I didn't read about it, but that was obviously a big they blew some of their budget on that for sure.
Yeah, so the second car that's while Kabuki Man's on the windshield, flips like 30 feet into the air, lands on its wheels, and then explodes. So that same footage was used in Romeo and Juliet, which came out just a little before this did.
No, it wasn't original for the film.
No, it was original for this film.
Oh, okay.
But they used it for the other film in the meantime.
Yes. Before this was released in 96, they used that footage in Romeo and Juliet, causing confusion as to which film it actually came from, but it was this. But then they continued to use it in further Troma movies.
Yeah.
That is the most Troma thing.
I think at some point there was an animated something or other where they animated the scene, or potentially they had an animated series of something and just put in this real life footage.
Oh, I hope it's that.
Which would be even funnier.
Yeah, that's a Space Ghost. Yeah.
But it became a running Troma gag.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was impressive to see. It was a good flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Also at this
they
point,
spent some money on
the... Oh, sorry. When he's on the windshield, and we found out later that that other guy's, the goon's name was Jughead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
With all the muscles.
Who's a weenie? He keeps calling him a weenie.
Yeah. The liberal use of the word weenie in this movie.
He said, "Oh no, he's using silly string." And he starts spraying.
Well, it is flammable.
The sound design in this moment was great too, because as the car was rocking and his nose was hitting the glass, you were getting the squeak of the nose. I was laughing at that. That was great.
Sometimes
they also had a really sweet Mr. T air freshener.
Really? I missed that.
Yeah,
missed that.
You know,
cool.
The attention to some details and the complete lack of thought of other details in Troma films is just breathtaking.
Yeah. I can't even think of any celebrities I would want to meet, but I think I would enjoy interviewing Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah.
What's your fucking deal, pal?
Yeah. What's up with you?
He would be an interesting human being to talk to.
For sure. So at this point, Harry's kicked off the force by the chief. So he goes to Lotus. He asks her to help him gain mastery of his powers, and she begins training him. There's a lot of ball taps. She's tough but fair.
In the nether regions.
Yeah. He wants to give up training, but she finally convinces him to complete his training and fight the evil one. Meanwhile,
the monkey butler was awesome.
Yeah, this is where we meet Toyota, the monkey butler.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Born in the back seat of an S7.
Yeah, 2000 GT.
Yeah,
GT. That's what it was.
Right. But that's why he knows how to drive a car.
I kept watching this and thinking that monkey's gonna like go for someone's face at any moment.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like I said, it's in the same family as a baboon. If it's not that, those are brutal animals. Those are intense.
Yeah.
I actually spent a good amount of time trying to figure out what kind of monkey it was, and my best guess is that it's a baboon because of the dog-like snout and the close set eyes.
Yes.
It resembled a baboon more than anything else.
He called it a dog-faced monkey, and I went, yeah. You know, that's what I don't know what it is, but that works.
Well, and then there are also mandrills.
Yeah,
which have the colorful.
Okay.
Anyway.
The sound design on his voice was so fucking funny.
Hey everyone, Thoreau from Harmless Phosphorescence here with a message for you. Yes, you listening to me talk. Did you know that the Harmless Entertainment Network has a Patreon? That's right, you can join in and get extra fun like a Star Wars Harmless Phosphorescence miniseries, a patron-only Q&A roundtable episode. We have great bonus episodes of audio dramas like Attention Hellmart Shoppers in 1994. But not only that, if we reach our next patron goal, we'll do a monthly bonus Harmless Phosphorescence about a patron-chosen non-superhero movie. Plus, there are great new shows on the way, and if you're a patron, you'll get to hear them first. Head over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment today, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you too can join our super awesome superhero club. Now, back to the show. She convinces him to complete his training and fight the evil one. Then meanwhile, Stuart tells his people that their time has almost come, but first they must destroy Griswold. Yeah. Harry and Lotus flirt and train. He turns himself into Kabukiman by reciting haiku.
By reciting haiku.
Yes. Then in a montage set to a kick-ass explainer song, he begins a campaign of crime fighting, taking down low-level criminals and gaining the public's admiration. That song was so awesome.
Yeah. Best explainer song yet.
Yeah.
But I would argue to say that prostitute needed help.
Yeah.
He just wrapped her up with that guy, the pimp.
Yeah, and just with the pimp, too.
And murdered them by turning them into sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he chopped them up. He chopped them up into little bits.
Yep.
Al sounded like he was giving testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a real like libertarian bent to Lloyd Kaufman's movies. The whole fact that like she's just as guilty as the pimp is.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Well, it's funny because he's like the evils of the evils of government overreach, the evils of capitalist business, like they're taking over, but then also these low-level criminals need to pay. Like, very libertarian.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost punk rock, but it really misses.
Yes. So, okay, then one day his apartment is blown up, almost injuring Lotus. So he decides now it's personal. And he's going to take out...
Finally.
Yeah, now it is. And he's going to take out Stuart and Snipes' operation.
It wasn't personal when they killed his fellow police officer that he had been dating.
No, it got personal when they blew up his apartment.
As it usually does.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is a personal thing.
I take all I can stand, and I can't stand no more.
The inspiration for Fight Club.
So he confronts an illicit shipment of animals on the way to Tromaville. He's run over, but he shakes it off and enters the church.
That's one of my favorite gags.
When he's flat
gag, the flat man thing.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
It was
but
so unbelievable.
It fits the tone of the movie so perfectly. Because he just reinflates and like walks back.
Yeah. Like Christopher,
and then finally like shakes it off. I was like, oh yeah, this movie finally got its fucking legs.
Like Christopher Lloyd in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, but less scary.
Yeah, less scary.
Yeah. So he kills one thug and takes on the rest of the gang. He's about to be hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, but he and Lotus escape when he learns he can fly.
She says that to him. She says, you might be able to take a bunch of shit and live for 1,000 years, but a grenade to the chest? Jump, old man. That was great. I thought that was funny dialogue.
And it turns out that he's afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and instead of flying, like, they just fall.
Backwards.
Like trust fall off the wall.
Like a suicide pact.
Yeah.
And she can't
Somehow
fly.
He catches her.
And he's not like holding her. But he is.
She should have like gotten into his arms and then pushed him back or something. I don't know. It just made no sense because they came up together. It's like, how did he catch her? He's good. He's that good.
Why didn't she have a mine song?
Oh my God. Yeah. It would have been great.
That was a real missed opportunity.
There was a long flying scene.
Yeah.
So back at the church, Kabukiman picks up Jughead and like holds him real close to his face. And Jughead, they have a Batman moment because Jughead says, "Who are you?"
That's right.
And he pulls him.
I'm Kabukiman.
Yeah. And then looked at the camera.
And then he uses that giant camera to turn Jughead into several hot dogs.
Right. What was that? He has
It's a Japanese legend.
He has a giant camera and takes a picture of him and he turns it into hot dogs in sneakers.
And Jughead has the final line saying like, "I am a real weenie."
Yeah. Weenie. And Jughead constantly kept saying, "Don't touch me."
Oh my God.
and like, why can't you be around me without touching me?
There's something weird going on.
There was like a really
Jughead.
personal moment going on. Yeah. And he was just having it out loud in
that
church.
was his character. But, one of the other men from the boys club, right after the attack in Central Park, he starts transforming and he's like, "That guy's not normal." A moment ago, you were. Yeah. Those kids. The Baby Lords could have kicked their asses.
For sure.
There were real Baby Lord vibes going on in this movie.
Baby Lord vibes.
That's a mood.
I'm writing that down.
They take a flight over the city and Kabukiman drops Lotus off at home, then goes back to the church where he finds Snipes about to leave town. He grabs him.
After he vomits on some lawyers.
Yeah.
The lawyers get...
So happy. This flight sequence, did anybody find anything out about this? I'm curious because you guys do a bunch of research. No.
No. Wait, what was?
Okay, it looks like they're on top of a roof of a building, being like chain hoisted around. It was kind of neat. I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
Okay, well, if you notice,
I don't know if it was green screen, but it looked like it might have just been them like on a roof somewhere doing it, which I was like, oh, that's kind of clever, actually. You could see wires at one moment, too.
You could see wires at one moment, and when he kept like flying straight across, if you noticed, his kimono hung down. I have a feeling there was just something holding him up, like he was just on some wheels.
I feel like they literally had like an engine chain hoist on a roof in like Jersey somewhere, and they're like, dude, let's just push you around.
Yeah.
We'll put the sound over it without that loud ass rattle.
Yeah, and like that, we'll put the camera a little below you, so we see you against the sky. Yeah, I think they
were only flying like 2 miles an hour, maybe at most.
Yeah.
At most.
And when they had the camera like to their behind them a little bit, it was kind of jerking back and forth. Like I don't know, they were.
That's another Devo song.
I don't know if that was a choice. Or just an accident, but it was a choice. It was kind of cool because he wasn't just flying smoothly. He was like,
jittery.
Yeah.
Enjoying himself, if you were.
Yeah, for sure. And then so he takes the Reverend up and threatens to impale him on the Empire State Building if he doesn't talk.
That was fucking rad.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming.
He's like, I could just drop your ass, but.
No.
And I think there was like a impale your ass on the Empire State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Proctologist.
Yeah.
He drops him just right.
Yeah. Oh, not fun for anybody.
Does the tip of the Empire State Building come to a point that small? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, he drops him and just his whole body explodes.
Finger on top.
Yeah, so Snipe confesses and tells Kabuki Man that Reginald Stewart had Connie killed. I mean, Reginald Stewart. Was he under any impressions that Reginald Stewart wasn't involved in this somehow? Like, why did...
Yeah, I don't know what his regular business is except putting on, like, how does he live? How was he so successful just running a kabuki theater? What did Stewart do?
Well, I mean, the big Stewart Pandex deal came through, so there's that.
That was for those lawyers.
Well, no, they mentioned it a few times. They worked on the Stewart Pandex deal, which I think was a merger between his company and the Pandex company.
Holy shit, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So he gets that on tape and he takes it to the police. So then Harry and Lotus celebrate over dinner and then they make love for a while.
Awkward love.
And again, do not watch this scene with headphones on because they ADR'd the entire thing.
And I'm sorry, it ends with him doing a reverse cowgirl riding. He's riding her. Remember, they pulled the sheet away and Kabuki Man's on her lap facing one direction and she's laying down. So he's doing a reverse cowgirl
on her.
It was the power of love that brought him back. Like the power of love making.
Yeah, I mean, hey, don't kink shame, I guess. Whatever they had going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. She could have added an appendage.
Yeah. But
it culminates in him kabuki-gasming.
Yes.
Kabuki-gasm.
Which is the same as becoming Kabuki Man.
Yeah.
Kabuki-gasm.
Yeah. And then, and he runs off. At that moment, he decides he's going to run away and deliver the incriminating tape. Like, yeah, that's right. He didn't do it first. They made love, and then he jumped up from making love to go deliver the incriminating tape to the police.
Hold up. Griswold.
And then,
why waste a good kabuki-gasm?
Right? Use that momentum.
The train is leaving the station.
So then, meanwhile, Stewart visits where his men are keeping a tiger, a monkey, and a jaguar captive in preparation for the prophecy that will bring about the rise of the evil one.
That's what I mean. They gathered all the necessary components. But yeah, this constellation. Sorry.
At the docks.
Yeah. And they couldn't find a monkey, so they brought a lemur.
Yeah, they said that's close enough.
And it just so happens that Kabuki Man brought a monkey.
Yes. Yeah.
Toyota.
Yeah. So Kabuki Man returns home to find Rembrandt in his bed, having kidnapped Lotus with the intention of feeding her to the tiger. Kabuki Man and Rembrandt fight, but without Lotus's love, he's lost his Kabuki powers, so he just shoots him. And then arrests him in that order.
Yeah. I feel like Toyota and Kabuki Man could have been a real buddy picture. Like, that was a because once they teamed up at the end.
It's like giving him tactical instructions.
Yeah.
Go around this way.
He gives him a gun.
Shoot these guys.
Yeah.
He gives
the monkey a gun.
And so I immediately made the Jaguar joke in my mind when I was watching it. Well, in my notes. But like, oh, monkey riding a Jaguar, the car. But Lloyd delivers that joke himself at the end.
Yeah, he does. So, okay, yeah. So Harry despairs that he'll never find Lotus, but Toyota brings him her bra and leads him to where she's being held captive. I was just watching the monkey handle that bra, and he was so into it, like kept rubbing it on his snout.
He's all, yeah, I've seen a couple bras.
I know what they're about. Oh. They arrive and watch as Stewart's men tie her up to the tiger's cage. And then Stewart explains that he's going to feed her to the tiger to complete the prophecy. Harry and Toyota take out the guard, and then Harry arms the monkey and bursts in guns blazing. So,
Harry and Toyota
take out the guard.
BJ and the Bear situation.
So
any which way.
Yeah, totally. So throughout this movie, automatic weapons, Uzis and such, seem to have very little effect on people that they're shooting at. They're constantly spraying bullets into crowds and people are not dying.
No. But at least there were no tiered firing lines.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Harry frees Lotus, but Stewart disarms the monkey and gets the drop on Harry.
By trading his keys.
Yes.
For the gun.
The jingle, jingle, jingle.
I mean, fair enough. He is a monkey.
Yeah, we were giving him too much credit.
Just then, the cops arrive to arrest Stewart. However, Stewart escapes from the cops, frees the tiger, which begins eating one of his girls. What was her name? Magica McDuck in Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
I can't remember her name. But when I was looking up that Tiger King guy, she almost got mauled.
Oh, during the making of this?
Because they had all that meat around, because the tiger is shown later eating like a beef rack of ribs or whatever.
Yeah.
And the tiger was just way into it. Wouldn't get off her. Yeah,
don't mess with tigers. Is my advice to anyone listening to this podcast. Just don't.
It's also Netflix's advice.
Right. That's general life advice. Just don't fuck with tigers.
I would think so. I would think so.
I thought we knew that already. So
there's no common sense anymore.
Yeah, right.
What else am I supposed to spend that $1,200 check on?
Right.
Stimulus tigers.
Stay home, wash your hands, don't mess with tigers.
And never shake a baby.
Never shake a baby.
Never.
The tiger starts eating one of the girls, and he begins turning into the evil one.
Because she's a nubile?
Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, she's nubile enough, is what he says.
Yeah. And the constellation aligns.
Yeah,
he broke off those handcuffs when he was still Stewart.
Yes, he did. They just burst off him. Harry gets knocked unconscious by a clumsy cop, and Stewart completes his transformation. Luckily, though, Lotus kisses Harry awake, and he turns into Kabukiman.
So he might have turned into a clown if she hadn't been there to
possibly
share her love.
Yeah, we don't know.
We may never know.
If he was in France, he'd be turning into a mime.
Yeah.
Kabukiman battles the evil one, but Toyota the monkey jumps into a nearby Jaguar, the car.
His pretend driving was fantastic.
Because Stewart gave him the keys.
That's right. Oh, my God. It all fits together.
He's all, get out of my dreams and into my car.
The prophecy is about to be fulfilled, but luckily, Lotus grabs the monkey and pulls him out of the car.
And she says, crazy monkey, you mustn't ride the Jaguar.
Silly monkey.
And then
as if the monkey understood that.
Right. And then the evil one just explodes.
Yep.
Just explodes.
Yeah.
And the close-up shot of gross donut guy. Donut bits falling out of his mouth.
Well, and that the demon that he changes into with the blue skin and the red hair, I've seen that image before. Does anybody else? Is that a Street Fighter character? Or
I don't know.
No, really. Yeah, that demon shit.
I thought that was the bad guy from Power Rangers.
Oh,
No, the blue skin and I'll find it. But anyways,
I mean, he reminded me a lot of the devil from Toxie 3, except blue instead of green.
mm-hmm.
But
and he was just holding a pair of severed heads.
Yeah, he was just told, and they kiss. He makes the severed heads kiss.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so the chief reinstates Harry and tells him to go on vacation. And then in the final scene, the citizens of New York watch as Kabukiman and Lotus fly around town. Roll credits. To Sergeant Kabukiman.
Oh, one of the gangsters that's shot in the head at the end, the African-American guy. Anyways, his name is Mario Joyner. He's a longtime stand-up, an underappreciated one, but he's like Jerry Seinfeld's best friend.
Oh, wow.
Huh. Okay, look here, if you can see. Oh, well, anyways, Oni. O-N-I. He's a demon.
Okay.
Huh. Oh, okay.
He's an Oni demon. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Also known as a blue demon. Well, anyways, yeah.
Okay.
There's a cool attention to detail.
That's an actual thing. Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway. So, that was it. End credits roll.
That was Sergeant Kabukiman NYPD.
So Toyota the monkey got a credit.
Yes.
The actor's name was Daniel Boone.
Oh, Baboon. Yeah.
The voice was J.W. Sass, and I think this was the only thing either of them had done.
I'm sorry, voice?
Yeah,
voice.
If you listen, the monkey spoke. He'd say things like, ooh, keys. Like,
holy shit, I did not know the monkey spoke.
Yeah, the monkey spoke.
The monkey spoke. That's my anthropology book that I wrote.
That's my political book.
So Phoebe Legere, who was the waitress, they didn't use her name. They just called her the Blonde Fox.
Ooh.
That
sounds like someone who like seduced Nazis in like the 40s. The Blonde Fox.
We got a people who did not act in this film gag in the credits.
Okay.
So we had Richard Nixon, Pete Rose, Sesu Hayakawa, and Toshiro Mifune.
They were not in this.
They were not. That is correct.
Can't argue. I swore the guy on fire that sort of falls off the roof little thing, I swear he was wearing a Nixon mask, but it could have just been a melty face protecting mask.
Yeah. As a gag, they may have put him in a Nixon mask. They may have just thought that was funny.
No.
They also reused some credit gags from Toxic Avenger 1 and 2. Or maybe all three, but the key gripe, the food stinks, and the golf grip, keep thumbs locks. Those were still there. I wonder if he just puts those in every Troma movie.
Yeah,
or the ones he directs. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Well,
so
we watched.
Yeah, that was the movie. We did watch it.
No need to recommend it.
Yeah. If you know what Troma is, you'll know if you like it or not. That's what it comes down to.
If you're a fan,
I don't know if I'd recommend it over Switchblade Sisters.
No, that's a better movie.
Yeah. I don't. Would you? Well, I mean, I guess we'll get to that in a minute. Whether it's better than any of the Toxies. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good segue, guys. You want to look at ranking this thing?
Yep.
Okay, so
I think it's up there with the first Toxie or the second Toxie, whichever one. I think the second Toxie was the one that we agreed was the better one.
Yeah. So Toxie 2, we have at number 24 out of 33.
Oh yeah.
And Toxie 1, we have at 29. So there's like 5. There's some space in between there. And in between the two, we've got Crow City of Angels, Punisher, Batman Forever, and The Phantom. I definitely think this was better than The Phantom.
Yeah, I did not like The Phantom.
I mean, for what it was, I mean, clearly The Phantom was more competently filmed, but nonetheless.
But it wasn't better than those, I can't say it was better than The Punisher or better than...
No, but we did say The Toxic Avenger Part 2 was better than The Punisher, but that was a romp. That movie was special.
I liked Toxie 2. I liked Toxie 2.
Yeah, that was legitimately like all right.
Okay, so what do you guys think?
Is it better than Batman Forever?
I want to hate it out of spite, but no, I don't think it was better than Batman Forever.
Do we
At least Batman Forever delivered visually on certain things.
That's true.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. Batman Forever again wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Batman Forever again.
Yeah, we will find out with much clarity next week how much worse Batman Forever could have been. I'll explain that in a few minutes. But I mean, does that seem fair then? We stick it at number 28 between Batman Forever and The Phantom?
Yes.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Let's do it.
That works. All right. Sergeant Kabukiman. Yeah.
Real quick, I need to get a commitment from you guys. Once we record our inevitable Harmless Phosphorescence album, I would like it to be called Baby Lord Vibes.
I'm in.
All right.
I am in. Do I have to bleach? Well, I don't have to bleach my hair, but
I thought you were going to ask about bleaching something different.
Hey.
All right.
Whether you do or not.
Once all this is over, we can all hang out and
yeah, we should meet
someday, right?
Yeah.
All right, that was Kabukiman.
That was Kabukiman. Sgt Kabukiman NYPD. Join us next week when we watch Batman and Robin. The only movie I have ever walked out of in the theater.
Wow. I get it.
I did, for the very first time, watch it all the way through just yesterday.
Wow.
It is breathtakingly awful. I'm not even gonna tease that. It's just bad.
I'm excited.
Although Arnold, it's our first Arnold.
Yeah,
it is.
Might be our only Arnold in like the main series we're doing here.
I think so.
Yeah. Wow.
He never played a superhero. Yeah.
No, he didn't. Huh. But yeah, so that's it. Join us next week. George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alicia Silverstone,
Uma Thurman,
and
Chris O'Donnell's back,
and the screen debut of Bane.
Oh yeah,
and glorious.
More bat nipples.
Excessive.
Oh my
nipples.
God, so much bat nipples, so many badasses.
Bat ass shots, yeah.
But I don't think that Batgirl has bat nipples.
No, she does not.
No.
She does not have bat nipples.
No female presenting nipples.
But there is a suiting up scene where we get like a full-on just bat boobs shot.
Jesus.
Oh God, that movie. So yeah, that's next week on Harmless Phosphorescence. So from everybody, thank you for watching. This is Thoreau Smiley, and I would like to remind you that a power elite of corporate money mongers are controlling our brains and our destinies while they dismantle the sacred foundation of the Bill of Rights.
I'm Josh Cece, and I am the Dragonus Pupus.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I guess I am a weenie after all.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I've been craving raw mackerel all day.
That's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producers Atticus Burkett and Michael Beckwith, and producers Alyssa Dent, Hedda Paulson, and Jojo Birchtree. Harmless Phosphorescence is a production of the Harmless Entertainment Network.